Hello, welcome to We Have Issues. I'm Anthony.
And I am Stevie Wildcard.
Every week, Stevie Wildcard and I get together and we do our best to take all of the various issues that life throws our way and we throw them into a doll. We put them in a doll, so then like if they try to chase us down, it's just not as terrifying as most things, right? Like I mean, now that we're adults, like when I was a kid, if I threw my issues into a doll, it would ruin my entire existence. It would just wreck.
Dude, most of my nights as a child was literally like thinking like any minute
Yeah,
this doll's gonna come in and end me.
100%. My brother, we shared a room. My brother had one of those My Buddy dolls that looked exactly like him. That didn't, you know, the thing when you're it's the middle of the night and there's like a little bit of light coming in through the window and under the crack of the door, and you kind of look over and you see something just staring at you while your brother is just snoring away like a chainsaw that, or like that, it was like a saw, and it made me think that like there were demons under my bed sewing the feet of my bed, so I fall into the underworld and that little demon doll can jump on my body and eat my soul. Anyway, we don't let our issues attack us like that because we're adults. We're human men now, and we are not afraid of those
And
issues.
we know where the tractors are to end
That's
those
right.
things.
That's right. We can easily take them out. No, but every week we get together and we do our best to just have a fun conversation about the various things that try to get in our way, the distractions that we face every day while we're trying to make comic books. And most recently, we've been working on a supernatural action D&D inspired horror comedy book called Deathless, and we're in issue 3. Stephen, we're doing.
We are.
I'm writing issue 5 right now,
Yep,
which,
you really are. You're kicking so much
dude,
ass.
it feels pretty good. It feels like really good to be ahead. I'm actually like I'm doing that thing where I'm too far ahead, so now I'm like, am I doing something wrong? Like I'm like floating in space a little where I'm like, I'm not used to this. Usually I kind of like I stay back and I'm just like, no, I'm gonna wait for your pages and I'll color and I'll just stay there. But this time we were like, I like this. I think it was smart of us to do it this way. You know, like the more I think about it, I'm
Absolutely.
like, we're ahead. We know what we're like, we actually have like books on books ready for like in the freaking bank.
Story is ready. Story is ready to go.
Dude, I can't freaking wait. But that being said, Steven, every week we get together and we tell we the first thing we do before we get into to the fun silliness of our lives, Steven, we always have to talk about how we did this week. So what did you want to do and how did you do?
I wanted to keep up on the pages. I had a busy week
Right.
with the arm and then the weekend. I didn't finish the page, but I got completely tight roughs entirely done for that page. So I have the entire conversation page like tight
Nice.
rough. So all I gotta do is like detail on top of like
Okay.
it's
That's
not
not
horrible. I brought
absolute.
my iPad with me on vacation and still like managed to bang out some solid roughs. And
That sounds
then
that sounds
today
like
and yesterday I was like tightening up the roughs so that way I have much easier time detailing later. So
nice, dude. No, that sounds like a success. Like for those of you who don't know, Steven's daughter had a birthday this week. He went away, and like it was a good parent doing all that, and also suffered through some physical old age, physical
only
labor
aging, bro.
ailment.
Just
It's
dying.
crazy. So what? Okay. Tell I know because we're best friends and we've been talking about it. But like, what happened, dude? Tell the people.
So my arm, I do pavers for a living. So I work out in the Florida sun like 42 to 44 hours a week. Um, laying and pulling up. I do warranty, so we pull up pavers, but sometimes we pull up a whole pull deck. Anyways, lots of use of my arm. I deal with random bouts of tendonitis throughout my shoulders and arms, but this is the worst I've ever had. It's basically tennis elbow. But like I've had tendonitis before where like, yeah, it kind of hurts when I'm using it, but whatever, I can just kind of work through the pain.
Right.
This one was like literally like a dagger stabbing me right in my
Oh
tendons.
no.
Like to the point where I can actually figure out which finger tendons going to my
Wow.
elbow it
I
is.
see.
Like
Yeah.
my middle and index are worse than my ring and pinky, and my thumb's pretty bad
Wow.
too. But yeah, like so like these tendons, I thought I was worried I had snapped one or done something like that, but I can just tell from how it's recovering and not like going back and forth. I don't have any like serious injury, but it's definitely the worst bout of tendonitis I've ever had
Dude,
in my
it's
elbow.
scary, and it's funny though because like when you sent that to me, I've never felt like we were aging together more so than in that moment because I was like, Steven, I have felt like Batman. I felt like all week I've been able to move my neck. Like I've been sleeping poorly and like, dude, it was my pillow. My pillow, like pillows die. Eventually, they like deflate and they become
They
this
start
flat.
to just wear
Just
out.
wear out. And like, unfortunately, it wasn't like a hey. it hurts a little. You might want to get a new pillow. I was like, I'll be fine. You know, it just like I wasn't feeling it. And then I woke up one day and I literally was like, nope, I can't move my neck. It hurts. This isn't
So
great.
stiff.
So like, and that was the same day. Then like, you know, you were telling me about your elbow, and I was like, oh my gosh, Stephen, we are old, and I'm allowed to say this now. You know, like I am. Here we are. Here we are in our mid to late.
Approaching 40, bro.
Yeah, dude. I
Approaching.
mean, it's true, and you know, like people hate when I say I'm old, and I've been saying it since I was like 25, and people were like, "Stop it!" And I'm like, "No, I won't."
I see the end. I see
it's,
the end of the horizon.
it's true, but like,
Cambria is 9 years old. That's crazy. Okay.
yeah, dude, we both have 9-year-old children, so like, yeah, it's we're going to experience these things, and it's kind of, I mean, it's frustrating at times, but it's kind of fun to be able to talk about it and share it together. Like, oh yeah, dude, like what's happening with your elbow? I experienced my knee after years of going up and down those stairs carrying things at work, and we talked about that a little too. It was just like it is the worst, but
That knee lockup is crazy. Like, because
mm,
sometimes I'll get it in the car,
yeah.
and it's like it wants to be stretched, but not stretched at the same time. It's
Oh
like
man.
I need more blankets and less blankets. You know.
I need more blankets and less for sure. But yeah, dude, I this week I wanted to write more of the script and do more of the Kickstarter. I did more of the Kickstarter for the movie. I started getting
That's
together
awesome.
for that, and that feels really good. I also got some like new fonts and stuff, so I'm gonna start playing with the poster design for the movie because I want to get some art going, you know, for the Kickstarter.
Fonts are cool because it's one of the things I forget that you can literally just go download a bunch of free awesome fonts. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, you can
it's
just
so
find cool
cool.
fonts and like and it's the kind of thing that like you can rasterize the font and kind of like make it your own and do, you know, it's fun to, you know, to play with that stuff. So I was doing that. Dude, okay, so one of the friends of our podcast mentioned, or you know, I was talking about different ideas and like what I'm doing with the script and stuff with Stakeout, and he was just like, "Hey, what about that vampire recovery group idea?" And do you remember we were talking about that with like people who used to be vampires, but they're not vampires anymore, and they have like a group where they talk about it? Like we talked about that like
Like
3 or 4 episodes ago.
Vampires Anonymous, basically.
Yeah, like a Vampires Anonymous, but like they're not vampires anymore. It's just like the people who used to be vampires, and you know, um, but it would be so funny if that was the tether story, like that's the wraparound story for all of the anthology stories in the vampire movie, right? So it's like, but it would be cool if you kind of see the group a little when the movie starts, but it's mostly like who'd like to go first, and then it starts a short film, and you don't
Mm.
know which of the characters is an ex-vampire when the short starts. So then like Stakeout, for instance, we could start it like that, and not like for our short film, but like once we get them all together, we would wrap it with, we'd film that stuff separately. But wouldn't it be cool if like the pizza guy, because the pizza guy becomes a vampire, so he's like he's not the main character, but he would be the one telling the story in
Yeah.
this, you know. It would just, he's like I was working my job one day, I went to go deliver a pizza, and these two idiots
Literally
like
got me killed.
got me killed. I got turned into a vampire trying to eat someone. It was what? I'm never gonna recover from this. I lost my job. You know, it's like it would be so funny. And like but it also works for like so many fun vampire ideas. And I like that we could show the short films and you never know who is going to be there. You know, it could be
Mhm.
the main vampire, it could be a random character, it could
Which vampire is telling
which
their tale
vampires
from this?
exactly, or it could just literally be like some guy who was like made like turned into a vampire by the guy who was the vampire in the short film. He's like, listen, I heard that Tony died and like I just like this is what I like he tried to break into someone's house, but he set up all these traps. It was like a Home Alone situation. You know, like, but I don't know. It's such a fun wraparound idea for a vampthology, you know. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. It makes me feel better about doing Stakeout as a short film because I was like, oh, at least then, like, if we did it as a
It's
short film,
working towards something great anyway.
yes, yeah. So like, even if we never finance the feature as a whole, we could always do that, you know, like that
Mhm.
seems like, you know, it's potential. But yeah, dude, I've been like, so I worked on the Kickstarter for that, and then like otherwise I did not do a lot this week. Like Atlas was still working through some congestion, you know, I had to do my like Dungeons and Dragons stuff. Dude, the saddest thing happened, like, I mean, I know like people without kids are gonna be like, let me just shut my ears off for a second, but like, dude, I have the same like ritual every like whenever I do a podcast or like like Dungeons and Dragons and stuff. I say goodnight to Atlas. I make sure he's all situated and stuff. I come in here. Like you and I don't record for as long, so as soon as we're done, I go in there. I say my final goodnight.
Because he's still probably up
Yeah,
watching
he's
whatever
still up.
going
He's
on.
exactly. He's like kind of laying down, but like he's falling asleep, not yet asleep. That situation. But when I do D&D, he's falling asleep. Like he'd be asleep by the time we're done. But we always take a pee break. So like during the pee break, I'm like, instead of going pee, I run in his room and I give him a kiss. And I say goodnight. And I do all that stuff, dude. I went in his room. Mind you, he hasn't been like proper sick in the last few days. Like he's been over it, but he still has a little bit of congestion, like that, where he's kind of still clearing it out of his chest.
Hmm.
But dude,
Lungs are finishing the job, basically.
exactly. So I go in there. I go in there to like, I'm like, oh, hey, buddy. And like, he's laying down. And I'm like, I was about to kiss him. And I realized he's just bawling under his sheet, just crying. And I was just like, are you okay? What's going on? Oh my God. And
What's wrong,
I
buddy?
hug him. I'm like, what's wrong? Are you okay? And he's just like, my ear hurts. I was like, no. And like, he had like an
Mm.
earache from the, ear,
Like
nose,
the
throat
congestion.
congestion. Yeah,
Yeah,
in
it's all
general.
connected.
It's connect. Yeah. So it's settled. And I was just like, so I was like, oh my gosh. And I just kind of like, I got him some Motrin and I laid with him and I just, like I took care of him as long as I could. And I was just like, oh my God, like it's just like the worst timing. And it's just all of it was it was so stressful going through that. And then like,
Juggling these
well, dude, and the
responsibilities.
craziest thing is so like I sat with
Felt
him.
like Spider-Man for a moment. Like
100%, dude. And like I'm like, so I lay with him and I'm sitting there just like rubbing his head and I'm laying with him and I'm making sure he's okay before I leave. I put on the humidifier and stuff in case, hopefully it'll help, and dude, so he's okay. He finally settles down. I go back and I'm like, now I have to go back and play D&D with people. Like it's just like but like the funniest thing is no one asks because like and like thankfully like they everyone minds their business. They're not they're just like I mean they assume I'm pooping or something. There's like he was gone for a while, but like oh, okay, whatever. But it's just like I have to come back and be like I'm silly now. And I'm just like my son is in there. He was crying a second ago.
he
It's
was
so
losing
weird.
everything. He
Dude,
was losing the war with his sickness and
it's so sad and it was just like dude that it's so strange how we have to navigate these funny human moments and like still play these particular parts wherever we are and like and I know sometimes like those it's just a war of priority where it's like yeah like if he were still in pain, I would have just come in here and been like, sorry guys, I have to go for the night. But he was okay. So I was like, okay, we'll finish up. We can do this. But like, it just isn't that crazy? Like, I'm sure you've gone through that, at least a few times
oh yeah.
where it's just like you're at work and you're suffering through work, even though you have this elbow situation and it's probably because of work and it's like, it's their fault. Yet here I am, like, geez, it's so insane that we go through this stuff. And like, I go through it most of the time at work, but like for like personal stuff, if I'm like, man, I'm feeling like I get like down on myself for not being like us not being successful or like more successful than we are, and I'm just like, what more can I do? What can I, and then like someone will approach me and be like talk to me about the email collection or like how many credit cards I haven't gotten this month, and I'm just like,
These mini games that you're putting upon my soul mean absolutely nothing to me.
exactly. That's
These
exactly
are these are side quests that I would avoid if I was playing Elder Scrolls.
yeah.
Okay,
100%, Steven. It's literally like that is how it feels. And what sucks is knowing that in that particular moment, I'm the NPC stuck doing those side quests, and doing all that stuff and feeling like, how do I break free of this? And like I do feel as if we're making our strides, and I appreciate that. If you're watching this right now and you made it this far in the podcast, thank you. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. But know that we freaking love you and we're thankful for you for hanging out with us at all. But dude, it does like it gets to me sometimes, and I it's funny because we've talked about it a bunch. Like we've been doing this for like 20 years. Like I knew when I was like when I approached you about the podcast and stuff. Like I knew it's our comic book process together just takes a while. Like it just does.
mm-hmm.
We're both parents. We both have like I mean, you have a relationship. I have relationship issues. It's a whole thing. But like no, but like it just like I know it's going to take a while. So like, but reconciling that with like the ambition and stuff is so rough sometimes, you know? And
Mhm.
like being at work, and like I know you go through that. I know you're at work probably like dealing with the people you work with and the sun and lifting stuff and being like, I'm an artist. You know, it's like, right?
Oh man, never getting to quote the Central Air quote because I'm never in Central Air. So
Yeah, dude. And it can be a lot, man. And like I find myself going through all these different things where I start thinking like sometimes I go through like the hypothetical like okay well I just have to find a new job where I'm making more money and then I'll have an easier situation, but then I know there are going to be other things that are going to suffer other consequences where it's like now I have less time to work on my comic books, I now have less time to work in the movies, now I have less time to be a good dad, which I don't want to do. I don't want to suffer any of those consequences, so I'm like back to where I began. So it's just like I have felt our lack of a Kickstarter campaign this year. I think that's part of it. I think that like not running the Kickstarter, because I think that Kickstarter gives us a
a
little
little boost of like,
boost.
hey, you guys are doing good stuff in the
Yeah,
world.
I do. I think it does. I think it gives us a little bit of boost and it makes us feel good about what we're doing, even though it's like, we don't need the external validation. Like we like the book that we're working on and we love working together and we're trying, and like I love doing this and we're gonna keep doing it no matter what. But it's like it does feel good knowing that there are people out there who want to read the book. And it feels good knowing that,
Mhm.
and it also feels good once you run the Kickstarter, if it's successful, we know that people are going to get the book. They're going to read the book. They're waiting for it, anticipating this thing. And like, we're hoping people right now are watching this thinking, like, I can't wait for issue 3. I hope they finish it soon. But like, I feel like that anticipation is probably stronger when like the Kickstarter is active
Yeah,
or,
because then they're seeing it like, oh well, these guys are getting to it. But yeah,
yeah, so I don't know, dude. Like, and I know we're going to run the movie Kickstarter, and I'm hoping it kind of like it fills some of that. Like it gives. I'm hoping it rains dopamine over our lives a little bit, Steven, because I feel like we both are like kind of in need. And it's like every once in a while we get through the slog of working on a thing, like a long term goal, and it's just like man, if only it's the if only is right. Like, because like if you had more time, if you didn't have to go to your day job, you'd pump out an issue a month. Like
yeah,
that's you just pump
because
out an
it's
issue.
not just squeezing the time in, it's actually having the energy to squeeze the time in
Yes.
after you're doing everything else. You know what I'm saying? That's the problem.
100%, because and even when you love the thing, like it's sometimes it's just not in you, or like you're sitting there and like you have your elbow is hurting after dealing with work and being in the hot sun, and now you're parenting and now you're cooking and now you're cleaning and now you're being a husband and now so it's like you're wearing all these hats and it's just like like how I don't might yeah, like yes, Stephen, you have a fantastically sized head, but you can only fit so many hats at a time. Okay.
Can
And
barely
like
fit one if I'm honest. It's a very I have to get the XL size and
so dude, but like it gets so rough, and I just want to say I think that like regardless, I do think it sucks that it's taking us this long, but your art is getting better and better. And I do think that our books are still improving exponentially every time, which
which
is
is cool.
freaking,
It's a cool win.
it feels awesome. And I love it. And I love that like the books aren't necessarily taking a long time because like, and I'll tell you, I have this problem. My problem when I was drawing like Bullet and the Beast, I was just like, I would draw one line and be like, nope. And I would erase it. I go, nope. And I'd literally sit there. I'm like, what am I doing? I'm just drawing a head. Just draw a head. What am I like?
Just
Why
draw
can't
it.
just draw it? And I was just
Just
like,
go for it. I'm learning to try to like because like just looking at other comic art and stuff, I'm learning to absorb like panels with like foregrounds and things like that because I mean in comics that's what they do, man. Like they draw the foreground character and then even though it doesn't make sense in true perspective, they're covering feet,
yep,
they're covering hard stuff. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? They're just like
100% looking for those little outs.
and it's not because they can't draw feet.
No, of
It's
course, dude.
because these feet are going to take me so much time, and I don't. I need to get 24 pages done for this book and 24 more done for this book by the end of the month. So yeah,
No, dude, you're totally right. And it's funny because I feel like one of the funniest things about working on a comic book is I feel like now I'm gonna generalize here because of course there are people who appreciate every aspect of comics or various aspects of comics, but I kind of feel like in general, both the writer and the artist are kind of overlooked, generally speaking, where it's like people will just read the dialogue and flip through the book as they're going until they see like a cool splash page and like, oh yeah, that looks cool. And then like keep going and like, okay, I read that and set it aside. And then it's funny because then there's some people who like only care about the writing, some people who only care about the art. And it's just
Yeah.
like, so it's like you never know.
Who's looking?
We're never gonna, yeah, exactly, we're never going to please everybody with our books. Like you could work as hard as you can on any given panel, and some people will just read a silly line that I write and flip to the next page and not even really glance, like, just kind of glance casually at the page and not care, whereas other people will inspect like thoroughly our backgrounds and see where those Easter eggs are and pull things from our podcast or like various things that that they know about us.
And tell me it's out of perspective ever so slightly.
My favorite is still
the penguin hands.
The penguin hands. Oh man, but like I think what we're doing is working. I think it gets frustrating, and I've been feeling it a little bit more because of getting far ahead. Because I'm like, I almost wrote this entire, like, we're almost done with the whole thing, but I don't get to see it.
It doesn't exist yet.
So that can be a struggle. So I sit there and like, I go through these like hypothetical situations where I'm like, okay, well, how can I feel?
I should send you some tips because like I was looking, I think I'm on like page 9 or 10 or something or 11. Yes. Somewhere around. I'm pretty far. Dude, okay. But yeah, I should send you some because you can start coloring,
Heck yeah. Well, dude, as soon as you like, yeah, start sending them to me because I can start lettering, coloring, and going. And like I can't wait. My plan is to letter the pages as I'm coloring the pages. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm gonna like letter them and then color them.
That way, then we also know where to put extra shading,
Yeah, dude.
Nothing like coloring crazy and then
realizing it's covered up completely. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, but it's true. It's true. But yeah, dude, I feel like we're making progress. I'm trying to stay positive about everything. I think people are going to really like issue 3. I'm just waiting for like someone to like, hey, maybe Olin Rogers, maybe our best friend Olin Rogers is going to read our book and be like, hey, this is pretty good, and then share it with all of his friends.
Man, I will ship something to him so fast if he just says he wants it.
Oh, 100%. Actually, speaking of Olin Rogers, he did say that he'd come back on our podcast soon.
Really?
Yeah, I just have to message him. So I want
you guys text all the time.
Yeah, no. But I'll give you a little bit of homework though, because I just for that, because I'm gonna message him this week. Dude, you need to watch his Haunt Hounds show. There are 2 episodes.
Oh wow, what's it on?
It's on YouTube. It's on YouTube. It's free on YouTube. There are 2 episodes. Speaking of that, if you're watching this right now, go follow Olin Rogers, which you probably already are. But like,
I do. But
if you haven't watched Haunt Hounds out there, anyone watching this, go watch Haunt Hounds because we're going to talk about it with Olin Rogers soon, and it's awesome. It's so funny. It's like Olin Rogers and his friends go to these various haunted places, and they go twice, so they take 2 trips to the place. So it's not like, oh, we heard some spooky sounds one time, and then they, so they go experience what they experience and then like go back another day, like a few weeks later, and they, but it's so funny and cool. And I can't, like, dude, I want to talk to him about it so bad because I was like, I don't want to spoil anything, so like you have to watch it. But they use like these cat balls that like blink lights if anything goes near them. They use like this, the coolest thing they have, Steven, they have this thing, right? I want to talk to him about it because I don't know what it is. I don't understand this technology, right? But I like it. Even if it's made up, I don't know. It's so cool, though. Like, he has this little device, right? And sometimes, not all the time, not constantly, but sometimes it will just produce words. Like, as if something's speaking in like a radio form. Like, as if some sort of radio. Yeah, and it just like pops
it's basically like an amplifier to like as a guitar amplifier would amplify the sounds from the pickups of a guitar. This is taking the frequencies around where it is and
it's a ghost microphone. Yes, like it's so weird, but it's super cool and spooky because it doesn't always go off. It's not like one of those things that's like, oh, look at this go, but like every once in a while they'll be like asking questions. And then it'll just kind of spit something out that's a little appropriate. Like, kind of like a cold reading situation where it's like, okay, what does this word mean based on what we were just doing? And and like it feels convenient, but like also weird and suspicious, but like cool and interesting. Like I don't, I love it. I love it so much, and I just want to talk to him about it. You know, I just want to be like, hey, dude, tell me everything, and like
That's
I'll,
exciting as heck.
dude, I can't wait. But I asked him, I was like, hey, when can we have you on the show to, to talk about this stuff? And he was like, whenever, like, shoot me a DM. I was like, yes. So I'm gonna do that. But yeah, dude. So otherwise, we have some questions this week. We have
Ooh,
some
question.
questions.
Dun, 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 dun. Not gonna do that again. It is the questions from the motherfucking colony. People gather around a campfire and they're like, "Hey, dudes, do you know this?" And then they lob questions at Anthony and Steven, and they answer with their best opinions. It's Anthony and Steven's questions from the colony. Colony.
Steven, I love your song so much. So, for those of you joining us for the first time, Steve and I are just starting a colony. Specifically, it's an ostrich-based colony in which we sell dirt, Kool-Aid. It's no big deal. It's no big deal. It's go watch every episode of our podcast and come back. No, but we're starting a colony, and for those people who are already part of the colony, including you, if you've made it this far in the episode, people like to ask us random questions, and we will answer them on the show. So we have a handful of pretty good questions this week. So let's see. So that Chris Got a Fish asked, who would win in a vampire battle royale? Who would you expect to re-die first? So who would die first and who would win in a vampire battle royale, which means all vampires throughout.
So we're just imagining all vampires right now.
Yes.
I think, okay, in a vampire royale,
Yeah.
the dude, what was the head vampire or the main vampire from the movie Vampires?
Oh, I know what you're talking about. You like John Carpenter's vampires? That guy, like, what was his name?
He was kind of a badass. That was what
Yeah.
I was getting at. I think, honestly,
Well,
is it Angel? Angel was a pretty nasty freaking vampire. Like, I mean, as far as Buffy versus vampires go, Angel was pretty nasty. I mean, manipulative, like played games. Like, I think he would play the long con. I think I wanted to go Spike because I like Spike better, but I think Angel from the Buffyverse takes a lot in this battle. I don't think that, as much as I love the Lost Boys, I don't think any of the Lost Boys vampires make it anywhere in this situation.
I hate to say this, but I feel like the true answer is Blade. I feel like Blade wins.
It's unfair, really, but I mean, as far as kill counts go,
yeah.
I think he's like,
yeah. I mean,
it's either Blade or the Volturi, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Those are the two options.
Like, okay, yeah, vampires can be pretty badass, but like, who has killed the most vampires? Who is the most capable and experienced, and also just generally the best fighter and most knowledgeable in battle? It's gonna be Blade, right? I mean, it's
gonna be Blade.
It's gonna be Justin Timberlake as no. I mean, because okay, because if not Blade, then you're what I think of is like, okay, all of the various vampires in throughout the fiction have been beaten, like bested, sometimes by human teenagers. You know what I mean?
Most times, if we're honest.
Most times, human teenagers are like garlic to vampires.
I mean, Sarah Michelle Gellar has bested a lot of vampires, including the Master. And then, true. I mean, Buffy's technically beaten the first, right? I mean, so like the first evil. We're not even talking vampires this way. She's basically beat the devil. So like,
I love that like vampires should hate human teenagers more than they hate Jesus. Like
it really should.
Like, wait, what if the T is for teens?
Yeah, has nothing to do with Christianity.
Okay, best part of the podcast. Anyway, so okay, let's see.
So we're gonna go with Blade, right?
I think, like, I mean, I know people are going to want us to say like Dracula, but I feel like Dracula gets bested by Van Helsing every time, and it's like,
dude, what if Magneto was a vampire? He just like every time he fights a vampire, too much iron in your blood. Too much iron in your blood.
All right, let's see. JD Bergstrom asked, why?
Ooh.
Why, Stephen?
Just why?
Why, Stephen?
Ooh.
Answer the question, Steve.
I'm gonna hear it like Kenan Thompson on Kenan and Kel. Why? JD, I don't know why.
You don't know why?
The world is a cruel place.
Oh, come on, Stephen. All right. Well, JD, you didn't specify the why. Okay, it's because everyone's either ignorant or passionate or good, and often we're stuck in this weird maelstrom of chaos that, where we have to suffer through the decisions that other people make. It's a distributed causality chain of nonsense. That's pretty much it. So just do your best. So when you step on a butterfly, it doesn't kill, Stephen. Don't do it. Don't kill Stephen.
Don't kill me.
All right, let's see.
I mean, why? Because I love you. MOUSE. I think that's what JD was going for.
Oh,
there.
is this sponsored by the mouse? How dare you?
Did the mouse invade our, of all people, who would not be JD?
No, it definitely wouldn't. JD, also thank you for reminding me to post the audio every single week on.
That's why he's producer JD, man.
I love you. I'm so thankful for you, dude. So Charlie asked, he says, I got a good one. Which Nintendo character? Oh, Charlie's awesome.
Charlie's awesome.
He says, which Nintendo character could lift Mjolnir?
Ooh, Link for sure.
I was thinking that too. It feels like Link. I mean, he goes through. Now that I've played, I'm on the last level of. I'm gonna fight Ganon. I got the last two things. I'm like, Link did not have to go through all this. Like, he's literally doing the most to save the kingdom.
He is Hyrule.
He is. He really is. He's saving the whole kingdom. Now I'll tell you, dude. Throughout my entire journey as Link in Hyrule, no one has helped me. Like, I've had that old man who tells me riddles sometimes, an old woman who refused to give me anything until I gave her a no. Like, no one cares. I'm doing everything I can as, like, Link could definitely lift Mjolnir. But what any other characters you could think of in Nintendo?
Even though he's basically a ball of chaos, I kind of feel like Kirby would be able to too for some reason. If not be able to pick it up, he'd be able to suck up Thor and become Thor and then pick it up.
Then dude, 100%. That's such, Steven, that's a perfect answer, because I feel like Kirby like embodies that innocence and like just like
he's pure innocence.
He's pure innocence and heroic nature, where like I think he really would be able to. I think he would be worthy.
And I would pick Luigi over Mario if it was one of the Mario brothers. I think Luigi would have a.
That's fair. I feel like as far as like being a more innocent soul and like being just like heroic in that he has to constantly overcome these fears, whereas Mario is someone who's just like, bold and brave all the time because he likes. I think he has a stomping turtle kink personally.
Yeah, I think he likes to murder entire species of animals.
Definitely does. All right, let's see. Fowler. Hey, Fowler. Fowler asks, "You're pro wrestlers. What's your tag team theme?" All right, Steven, what's our tag team thing? What's our theme for tag team?
Our theme is Superbad, and we literally do the whole silhouette dance number from Superbad when we come out on stage to that song.
Oh, dude, I would love that. I mean, obviously, I'm McLovin. I get it. No, I would be. I like.
And then, dude,
in this situation,
our signature move is you grab the guy and like I turn around, and I as I'm walking, you throw the guy into the back of me, and I fall over. What the hell happened? And we get the guy to pay us and drive us to the party afterwards.
Dude, Superbad is such a good movie. It's so funny. I haven't seen a comedy movie that's hit me like Superbad.
Superbad was our generation's Dazed and Confused or Fast Times at Ridgemont High. It was our generation's version of it. It was crafted carefully for us, and
it really was
ours.
It was.
My dad loves Fast Times with a passion. I imagine it's the same feeling I feel for Superbad.
100%, dude. Okay, let's see. Heather, hi Heather, asked, from my oldest kid, barrel plushies or minifigures ever?
That's definitely something we really need to think about, especially Barrel. So Barrel did get a plushie, but it was just one of those things where it is not cost effective.
No, it's not cost effective.
Where we're at in our journey. Honestly, if we could really understand the 3D printing game, like I imagine one of us or both of us could sculpt a Barrel, 3D scan it, and then mass produce it. But I'm just not versed in that. And I've done research in stuffies, and it's just, as an indie creator, it's just not, we don't want to charge you to break even on it, if that makes like, even for us to break even, we would feel guilty charging people
because of the cost and how ridiculous
the cost. I mean, if we ordered 5,000, it would only cost us way more money than we have, and it would be cheap per unit.
Yeah. I mean, that's one of those things where, like, okay, the short answer is yes, we're going to do it at some point. We're going to definitely, at the very least, have figures. I know we can do it. My uncle has a 3D printer and capability of doing that stuff.
So
So
that's who we need to start
that's
working
who we're
with.
going to start working with. So yes, the answer is yes. But yeah, so we did make a couple of barrels, and or we made a barrel, and but we gave them away with the Kickstarters and such, because we had people who were so generous, and like, we will be doing other things like that in the future. So keep on looking out for our hand.
Maybe we should think about that for the barreled issue that will eventually come, and
Yeah.
do a revised barreled stuffy where it's the mean barreled and not the OG stuffy.
Good thinking, dude. That's really good. That would make a lot of sense, and I think people would love the heck out of that. All right, let's see. So Amelia Rose asked, I love that, like, it's all people that are just like so good
The
friends.
best.
Like, they're all the best. So it's Amelia asked, most interesting place you've ever chewed gum.
Ooh,
Probably. Okay. Do you have an answer, Stephen? Do you have an
I
answer?
don't. Usually, but what's funny is I don't usually chew gum. So
Yeah.
I usually do chew gum at like concerts. So there's probably been a few Coheed concerts I've been chewing
Oh,
some gum at.
good answer. Much better than my like first thought. That's much better. So one time, Stephen. So one time, I'm gonna tell you a quick story. I'm gonna tell you a quick Anthony lore. So there's one time I was chewing gum. Um, when I first moved here, right? I first moved here. I was talking on AIM, you see, with this girl who lived where I used to live. And she was like, "Oh, it's too bad you moved away because I have a crush on you." And I was like, "I sure can drive back over there and hang out with you at some point
Let's
because
do that.
yeah, we could do that. I'm 16 and like no one says that they like me. Let's go, you know." So this person, she was like, "Oh well, yeah, like you should do that, like like let's hang out and blah blah blah." So I did. So I went over there, and I stayed at my cousin's house, and I was like, this girl's gonna come and pick me up and we're gonna go hang out, and I'm this is new to me, this is crazy, I've never done anything like this, I need gum. So I was like,
You need to have the freshest of
I've got the
breaths.
freshest breath in the world. So I did, so I got some gum, and she picked me up, and we literally, first of all, this is the first time I had ever done anything even remotely like this in my life. Like, I would, dude, I I had never met this
Them
person.
hormones are crazy, bro.
Yes, they are.
At that age.
Like you say at that age. Right now, if
I would do the same
I
thing.
would do the same thing. Like, dude, it's been almost 2 years since I've kissed a human
Oof.
person. Dude,
Oof.
this is the longest I've ever been. Like, if now, mind you, I'm not looking to date anyone, but if the right person was like, "Hey, you want to come over and like hang out?" I'd be like, if someone was like, "Hey, you want a piece of gum?" I'd be like, "I thought you never asked." Like,
Want to come over watch the Netflix?
yeah.
I do.
So I do absolutely.
I really do.
I really do. So okay. I'm gonna make this story super short, but it's Steven. So this is what happens to 16-year-old Anthony, right? So I get in our car and I'm thinking, like, I don't know where we're going. I don't know what's going on. I'm like, I went along for this ride. I have never been this spontaneous in my life. I went across the coast to meet this person. I got in the car with this person. I'm chewing
He
gum.
just completely used by you.
Dude, I'm just chewing gum, just like, what is this life that I have? Like, where are we going? I don't know where we're going. And she pulls past this gas station into a Target parking lot, and Target's closed because it's late at night now. And we park in the Target parking lot, and I'm like, what's gonna happen in this Target parking lot? Like, oh boy.
Oh boy, this is where it happens.
This
is where the deep lore starts.
So I don't like, yeah. So I'm chewing this gum.
The Watchers there from like the Marvel universe, like this is like a prime moment.
This is yeah. This is a core memory.
It's a core memory. This is part of the main timeline.
The main timeline.
What happens here must be in every timeline ever.
Yes, I hope not, dude. I hope there are other Anthonys that don't have to suffer.
He's watching, bro. It's too late.
I'm pretty sure I've told this story in the podcast before, but like, so we're there, and we start kissing, and we're kissing, and I'm like, good thing I brought this gum. Heck yeah, good choices, And so we're kissing, and we do that for a little bit, and after a while, I'm like, oh crap, it's getting late. I should get home. Like, I should get to my aunt's house. She's not gonna want me to come home at like 2 o'clock in the morning. It's gonna be weird. So we go to start the car, and it doesn't start. The car doesn't start, and we're in the back of a Target parking lot. We're like in the Target parking lot. They've been closed for
The
hours.
your pants the tightest they've been in a long time.
They
Uncomfortably
could
tight
lift
pants.
Mjolnir, Stephen. They could lift Mjolnir. Like just like no. It's so, I mean, I hate it, but it's so true. Like Stephen, it was just one of those situations where I was like, this is not the thing I should be doing, right? This is awful. Like, what are we
This
doing?
is karmic
This is
punishment
karmic
for no
punishment.
reason. I don't know why, but it is.
So I have no one to call. I mean, I didn't want to call my aunt and be like, hey, I'm in this girl's car in the Target parking lot. Will you please come pick me up? You know, it'd be so weird. So I was like, what do we do? And she's like, oh, I'll call my parents. I was like, oh God. Oh, yeah. Okay. And so she calls her parents and like we try to push start her car. It doesn't start and like it's not working. And I end up having to sit in the back seat with like her mom and her
Oh,
dad and her. And I'm just like, yeah, we were driving past and I just don't say like I just shut up, right? And she's lying. She's just like,
oh man.
she's like, my car started acting weird, so I pulled off, and her dad's like, there's a gas station right there, and she's like, oh, it was still going, so I wanted to and I was just like, oh God, this is a mistake. Oh God. And we just like
You're gonna lie, you gotta think three steps ahead. That's the rule.
dude, just so awkward. It was so awkward. So it wasn't great, but it was probably one of the most interesting places I've chewed gum because I was
That
just
is definitely an interesting place to
it's a
chew gum.
weird, silly, funny story, and it's like, how did I end up here? Anyway,
The fact that her parents probably tell that story to this day just from a different perspective.
it's so true.
And that kid with those tight pants back there chewing gum, obnoxiously chewing that gum.
He wouldn't stop chewing. Yeah, dude, it was a nightmare. Okay. Daily Doubting asked, come up with a game plan for getting abducted by aliens, meaning how do you convince them to do so? Stephen, I've been wanting to get abducted by aliens for so long. I've had dreams in which I sincerely felt like it was the most realistic alien abduction I've ever experienced. You know, like I've had dreams where I've been like, I can feel the moisture from the grass on my feet as I'm walking out there. And I remember looking up and I remember the sensation of lifting from the ground outside of my house and like feeling like, well, this is how it happens, I guess. And like going through the real time, slow, just real life experience of lifting off the ground. Like I remember that. It, not like the dream, you know, the dream time where it's like things cut from one thing to another. Nothing kind of makes sense. You know, nothing makes sense. It's all weird.
It's like a Quentin Tarantino movie.
Exactly, but dude, so
it doesn't pay off.
It does, yeah, yeah. That's how most dreams are, right? But like, dude, I've experienced that, but it's always just been me going outside and being like, well, there it is. Like, there's a UFO, but I don't know how would you get them down here? How do you convince them that you're worthy of the abduction? Excuse me.
I don't know how you would convince them, honestly. Like, what do you do? Like, the only thing I can do is if I encounter one directly, is just offer every part of me at once in a way
or the right part.
Or the right part. It's the toes. My dad's an alien.
I mean, it could be. It could happen. Steven, speaking of aliens, really quick. So speaking, like quick sidebar conspiracy situation, right? I'm at my work, right? I work at a craft store, and we have a seasonal aisle where it's like kind of farmy type stuff, right? Where it's just like oh, farm decor, or it's like, you know, they're like boots and like, you know, it's like summer decor, right? And there are these scrolls, okay, where it's like wood on top, wood on the bottom, just kind of like this linen, or, you know, just like a fabric. It's mostly like a canvas, but it's like a printed canvas in between, right? And you'd imagine various things, sayings, maybe chicken, maybe like if you're in the decor, right? Like maybe you'd have like just like something like for that aesthetic. I get it, right? But it would also have to double as something that you'd want in your house, like generally, like
can't just make farm shit.
Yeah, like you'd think like most people like, oh, even if it's like functional, and I know that's part of my own prejudice. Like I like things that are practical as well as like you know, art stuff, you know. But like I get like maps or like a globe or like that kind of stuff. But there's something, Stephen, like on one of those, not just one of them. It's the majority of them, maybe because these are the ones that don't sell, but the majority of them have various eggs. They don't even have labels for the eggs, just various eggs, like drawings of eggs, like egg diagrams without like no labels, no like, hey, just so you know, this is what an ostrich egg looks like. This is a quail egg. This is like, it's just various eggs, and I'm just like, who,
Who?
who?
Who's this for?
I mean, just like the great J.D. Bergstrom once said, why?
Why does this egg exist?
So I was like, I'm pretty sure there are aliens among us. Like I almost guarantee you that
Humans like eggs, right? I mean, they make eggs.
it's it's one of
They
two things. It's one of two things. It's one, either what you just said, right? It's either like aliens are in the corporate world and they're like, listen, they love these egg things. They sell them by the 12s.
listen. It's eggs and Drake. That's what they love. That's what we give them for some reason.
I'm pretty sure everyone's off Drake right now, but we're going on Kendrick, right?
Oh
But,
yeah, we're all Team Kendrick. I'm pretty sure.
so okay, Steven, it's either that or it's straight lizard people, right? Like, what if the people in corporate are like, well, we know that we're on the earth and there are more of us now than ever. You know who's shopping. We have to give them what they want. And they're like, yeah,
So they like eggs.
they like eggs. They're like, we eat these eggs. Like we eat, like we eat all sorts of eggs. Or what if they're actually literally the lizard's eggs? Like, what if they're like they're reptilian creatures? And we're like, oh yeah, that looks like an ostrich egg. Like, no, those are the various like evolutions of our eggs.
Of the super alien eggs.
But I don't know. Okay, so I think it, like, to answer Daly's question though, I think it depends on how you can communicate with the aliens at all. Like I know there was at one point, and you could probably find it on YouTube, but at one point I watched videos of this man who like claimed he could call UFOs. But like he never had video evidence of it, but he had videos of him saying like, hey, look, this happens, and they can tell when there are video cameras around and such, but I want you to know I sit here and I meditate and I basically can open myself in such a way to call them. So I imagine what I'm gonna do is I kidnap that guy, right? I kidnap that guy. I'm not gonna meditate. I'm gonna
I'm not
kidnap
doing
him.
that. You meditate for me, bro.
You meditate for me. I'm gonna take you, and I'm gonna grab onto him. Is what
When the aliens start showing up, you're just like,
I'm gonna be a backpack.
it's my energy that you're feeling. It's not his. He sucks.
He's
He's filming you. He's filming you. I'm not filming you.
I told him not to bring the camera.
I told him not to.
I don't even have mine on me. This is not a GoPro. This is not a GoPro.
It's my third eye. It's open. It's ready for you.
I do love the idea of like of using someone who's spiritually enlightened to like, backpack to just become like a fanny pack to hitch a ride. I mean, it also works with the rapture.
You're weighing my spirit down, brother. I'm holding on. I don't know what happens. I don't know what's gonna. I mean, I don't think this is gonna work ultimately, but I'm gonna try.
I'm gonna try. You have to try like hell. Thimker asked, "What is your favorite pizza pie?" Tell us about it, Stephen.
My go-to, my easy, like if I'm like, I want to try a pizza from this place, I like, of course, plain cheese. Plain cheese is, I feel like, the best way to determine. But bacon jalapeno is one of my favorite topping combinations. Sometimes a little pineapple too, but bacon jalapeno is the base, the core. That's my jam.
It is delicious. I'm gonna tell you, I don't eat bacon anymore, but I have had bacon jalapeno pizza and it's delicious. I'll tell you, I'm 100% with you in that if you're going to determine what if a pizza is good or not, you go cheese and you see if
You go cheese because that's all the base ingredients, and if those things are good, then everything else is gonna be.
no, it's like that old Mitch Hedberg joke where about the Ritz crackers. He was like, I didn't buy them because I wanted to eat little, or because I wanted little plates. I bought them because I want to eat the Ritz crackers.
I like Ritz crackers.
I like Ritz crackers. Like I like pizza. I want to eat the pizza.
I feel like if you don't like cheese pizza, you don't like pizza, because I feel like cheese pizza like should be everyone's down for cheese pizza. But like,
oh, for sure. That's why I mean especially I think the deterrent there is when people think of cheese pizza and they don't like it, they're probably thinking of like Domino's or like they're like, I need the thing to make it more interesting for me because it's not as delicious as I'd like. But when you and I are talking pizza, we're talking like, all right, we're gonna go to Nice Guys and get a pizza and it's going to be freaking delicious. It doesn't matter what kind of pizza, you can literally order any pizza from the right pizza place and it's going to be delicious. My favorite is probably the truffle shuffle pizza from Nice Guys.
It's so good.
It's so
earthy,
good.
cheesy.
It's cheesy. I mean, like I'm a big fan of mushrooms. I know it's like that's I don't know, a lot of people hate mushrooms, but like I love mushrooms, so it's
Even as like a big like meat eater, from coming from me, I actually will say as a whole, I prefer more veggie leaning pizzas than meat leaning pizzas. Like I'm not crazy about meat lovers pizzas, but I love like deluxes that have like a lot of like black olives,
for sure, dude. I
onions on pizza is really good too. I like onions on pizza.
All right, Steven. All right. We have a bunch of dots, and at my titter tat asked, where would you like to live if it were 1482?
1482.
Where would you like to live? That's an interesting question. Where would you like to live in 1482? It's rough, right? Because we probably want to be as comfortable as possible, but it's going to be pretty impossible no
I mean,
matter
it's
what.
like kind of it's pre-Victorian England at that point, right? I mean,
Yeah, so, I mean, 1482, I,
I would have to it would have to be Europe. I would probably pick like
I'd probably
Sweden or like somewhere like cool that's already cool
That's already
and
cool.
nice.
I'm gonna say like I'd probably live in Italy, like where like my ancestors.
Italy honestly sounds
Dude,
like a pretty good place. I mean,
I
yeah,
imagine it would be beautiful. There would be like
the
art,
food's
the
good.
food's
Yeah.
good, and wine, and it's just like if it, like I would have relatives there, you know. So it's like I'd probably go there. It's also a language that like I would enjoy learning and being around. Although it would be interesting.
Italy's a good one.
It would be a good
Italy's a
like
really cool one. Paris, France would be pretty
Paris,
cool.
France would be freaking cool too, of course.
That's like, it's like probably when Paris, France was at its coolest.
All right, let's see. Okay, so then we have like a slew of questions from Paige, as always. Thank you. Let's see. We have, would you rather have skin that changed colors based on your emotions or tattoos spontaneously appear all over your body depicting what you did yesterday?
Ooh, either way, you're being revealing about yourself. I think the skin color thing would be really cool. I just think it'd be a cool thing. I'm sure it would get
My
annoying.
fear with the skin color thing is like, do I get only if I get to choose the colors? Because if I'm like, hey,
Only if I get to choose a color and you don't necessarily know what the colors are.
yes, because dude, I'm gonna go,
Although, dude, that sucks, bro. Because like, let's say you're in a committed relationship.
yeah,
You love this person. You turn a certain color when it's freaky time,
that would
which
be pretty
whenever
fun.
you get turned
You
on.
have to find
So
someone
now
who's
what
really
sucks
into
is
it.
you have to forever, which we do anyway, but
I know
you
what you're
can't
talking about. Yep.
slip once. If you see anyone that's even remotely attractive and you start to change a shade,
That would be
like, oh
so
my
fun.
God, that would suck.
That would that
I
would
don't actually like that person. It's the
no.
stupid hormones of a freaking
Okay,
animal
no, no, no.
person.
Okay, Steven. To that though, they would know sincerely that you feel shame, remorse,
Oh, because you would start
regret.
feeling those things.
Yes, so your color would change. So yes, you might have that little spot of green, but you would also be like, "Hey, I'm purple now, dude. Look, I'm a human being. You know that."
Mhm.
I mean, if you're gonna be with a human mood ring, you're gonna have to appreciate,
Mhm.
the pros and cons of the human mood ring. I would say, yeah, but as long as I can choose colors, because I don't want to be like, what if my mass setting is like a brownish color and people are like, "Oh, it's Cancel Anthony now." Like that's not cool. I'm mad a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to feel. I don't know how this is working. I don't want people to hate me because I don't feel good
The
today.
tattoo, I feel like the tattoos are just so much riskier though.
I feel like no. Okay, the tattoos are
It's
risky.
just it's just all
I
it's
was
like
gonna say.
Post Malone tats, like I mean, just on your face, like
I
an
was gonna say
animation
that was
of that moment.
that's what I was gonna say. Where are the tattoos exactly? Because if it's like, hey, it's on your chest, okay, it's fine. Like I'll just like I'm not gonna go to the beach after having like an interesting night the night before. You know, like I'm gonna.
Yeah,
I'll
that guy's got a butthole on his neck. That's a crazy tattoo to have. I don't know what he was doing because it's just straight up a butthole. Was he looking at it? Was he touching him? Is it his butthole? What's happening
Why is he
here?
turning green? What is that? Why am I turning green? So,
Steven, no.
so okay. It's if you could live in any movie universe, which one would you choose and why?
Oof.
That's a hard one. Probably Lost Boys, and I would drink someone's blood. I drink everyone's blood. I go around
Yeah.
drinking
The
blood.
goal is gonna yeah, the goal is vampire or superhero, right? So yeah,
Yeah,
it's probably either be
100%.
like
Like
Marvel Universe or
I feel like, yeah, I mean, Marvel Universe would be good. Like, if I could find my way into like Osborne Labs and be like, listen, just give me the freaking thing. Give me, I want to be a Venom. Like, give me a symbiote. give me the Spider Man. Like, come on, like this happens to people every day. Like, I can become one of these people. Like I'm gonna be a mutant. Can I be a mutant? If I'm a mutant, yes. If I'm not, I'm gonna be miserable. I'm not gonna like. I don't care. Look, I'm a human person.
yeah, as long as I can choose, like if I'm like Omega level mutant, I want
Yeah,
to have like some crazy ass power.
yeah. I do not like.
Unmeasurable power.
I know. I understand that everyone wants to just You want to feel superior to me and say that you never compare yourself to other people. But the truth is that when I see someone who's like doing something similar to what I'm doing, but they're like getting way more success, I feel a little sad for myself, not bad for them, not wishing ill on them, you know? But like, I'm just like, oh, why, God, one day me, please, you know? At the very least, in this situation, there's a little bit of hope where I'm like, all right, I can learn from their successes and learn from my failures and find my own path and figure out how to do this. If, however, they were just a freaking superhero and I could never, I would be Lex Luthor. I know it. I can't. I couldn't do anything in my heart. I'd be like, you're kidding me. People were just born like, that's like, okay. If, and to that respect, that's privilege, right? Like someone's literally born with like the biggest like amount of superpowers and like
Storm can control the weather.
weather.
The weather. Magneto can flip the poles. Like,
Yeah, it's too much. It's too much to be thrust. Like that would be literally hell.
the only thing that sucks more is like being like a mutant that has the lamest powers too, though. Like that's got to be worse than not having any power. Because I think
yeah.
I'd rather.
Oh yeah, like I mean, what's his name, Leech? Like where it's just like you can stop
He just takes people's powers like but
powers.
doesn't get them.
Yeah, you don't get any real powers. You get to suck other people's power. I'm like, okay, cool. All right, let's see. If you could be guaranteed success, would you rather write comics or movie scripts? Interesting. Guaranteed success as in
I think if he were as your friend, how about I say for you?
okay.
I really think that you would prefer movie scripts. I feel like comics are a means to an end to tell stories.
Yes, I feel
you
like
want to tell stories.
I'll tell you, like I feel like movie scripts allow me to be more open with dialogue and there's way more like leniency with it. Whereas like comics, as much as I like writing comics, I have to be very specific and particular with the dialogue because you can only fit so much. You know, I can't like I really love writing back and forth dialogue and like silly jokes and like punching things up and stuff. That's not necessarily what comics are best for, you know? So I would probably choose movie scripts, but like I think saying success makes me feel like, hey, I just write, I do whatever I want. So like Steve and I make comic books, we make movies, and we keep doing that. If I were successful in doing any of them, I'd be able to do all of them, you know, that's kind of the dream because the truth is, if I am, you know, if I don't have to go to my day job anymore, doing that stuff, like if Steven doesn't have to do his job anymore, it opens us up for every opportunity to make music.
Full on creative mode.
Yeah, pretty much. And that's, you know, that's what it is. Like, I can't tell you how often, dude, like I've thought of writing an album, you know, and be like, why don't we write music? Like we were, and I honestly
I've been playing a lot more guitar lately.
Yeah, I think it was like when we lost Mike, it was just like, you know, like I don't know, I stopped like writing songs and like, you know, just like thinking about stuff in those terms. But like I do miss it. Like I want to write more music, you know, and I love writing. I write music every other month really for Critically Stupid, but like I want to write songs for us and like, you know, make music together. But yeah, so like one success, it's like you know, everything that rises must converge. You know,
the
it's
best domino, the best domino effect.
Yeah. Let's see. Guaranteed success. Okay. Who would win in a fight, Velocipaster or Duke from Carousel?
This is an easy question because I haven't seen either.
Because I'm gonna say, I mean, okay, so for those of you who haven't seen Velocipaster, he's like a kung fu priest guy. Like he's gonna win. Come on, I like Duke is like this like
kung fu like dinosaur man.
Yeah, he's a kung fu
dinosaur. Dinosaur.
And I understand that like Duke has his whole thing, but like Carousel is really funny and interesting if you like cheesy, so bad they're good, or just like corny indie movies. It's fun. It's worth watching. Go check it out. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Velocipaster just because it's so ridiculous and so much fun, and he would.
And the name is so perfect.
It really is. They freaking nailed it. All right, Steve, we're running late, and those were all of our questions. Oh no, they weren't. No, they weren't. Hang on. I almost failed.
We got 30 more.
I almost failed. You want to know why I almost failed? I'm gonna call you out, Levi. Levi does this thing where instead of writing the question in the chat, they like link over to another thing, you know, or I'm like, I have to click on a thing for yours. But here we go. Levi asked us, and this will be the last like few. How'd your social media break feel? Honestly, not good or bad. I felt kind of mad about it. I really do. What happens to me personally is I get too wrapped up and let like the worst part of social media define all of social media, and I think that happens to everybody about everything. You know, like it sucks. Like sometimes, you know, if you define a thing by the worst aspect of the thing, it's gonna suck. You know, so I get wrapped up in that perspective sometimes, and because of that, It wasn't great. But when I take a break from it, I miss all my friends. Like I have a lot of friends on there, and we all like you're asking us these questions because we interact online, and that's where I spend most of my time with people who aren't my son. That's just the reality of my life. So yeah, I don't know. I miss interacting with people. I miss sharing jokes. I didn't miss ridiculous comments and stuff. But yeah, so it's a give or take. What do you think about Bill having your comics? So Levi was kind enough to send Bill Watterson, the director of Dave Made a Maze, our comic books, which is really cool. Levi, thank you so much. It feels really good to know that anyone reads our books or wants to read our book. Steven, if you could have one person read our comics, who would you want to read our comics?
Ooh. Well, you know my answer to that is probably Claudio
I
Sanchez.
knew
I
you were
would
going to say
definitely
Claudio.
I want Claudio to be like, "Yo, I love your art and I want you to do a cover for me," or something like that.
Oh,
Or, "You're so awesome. You guys should take over this." Or
dude, that would be amazing. But yeah, it would be Claudio or Kevin Smith, of course, for me
Kevin
because I like
Smith,
Kevin
of
Smith.
course, too.
Yeah.
But yeah, Claudio's big for me and Kevin Smith.
Okay. Steven, what was it like not only having your names but your voices in a Tremors movie? Did you see
Yes.
what they did? Okay.
It's so awesome.
I didn't
I
expect that. It was pretty fun.
I didn't expect it. It was really cool and well done. And like, yeah, no, it's awesome. I love being a part of like a universe, basically. Like, we're all part of like our own little universe, of people that.
So Steven, I do have to say so Levi is like part of a group that like mostly the in charge of like coordinating this like Tremors Fest thing, where it's like a convention but for Tremors specifically. And they're thinking about doing like a film festival of short films, just like similar to what Levi made, or it's like but they're going to do like any short film that people submit and stuff. And I was like, oh man, we can do that. We should make a Tremors like a 5 minute.
Oh, dude, I'm down.
Because wouldn't that be fun just to do like,
That
because
would
it
be
would
so
help us.
fun.
Wouldn't that be fun? And like, dude, I have the perfect idea for how to do the graboids and everything, like how to do the creatures. And like, I think it would totally work. But we just have to have like a fun idea, and just like something that like would make sense, but isn't too crazy. But
Tremors in the sun. We just do it at the beach. Like, wouldn't it be nice?
I mean, Tremors in the water. It's literally because it is just land jaws. So it'd be pretty funny if like the graboids were swimming in the water and they're like, oh my god, like, oh, like there's a shark, and then the graboid just comes up and eats the shark and like,
Just eats the whole show.
oh,
It just happened.
what just happened? And then we all get out of like, imagine how scary that would be if Tremors started on the beach, right? Where you see the graboid like eat the shark, and people are like, "Oh my god!" And we all escape, like get on sand, like, what the hell was that? And then it's just coming toward us, and then it just disappears, and then it
Yeah,
comes.
imagine
Oh,
it coming like
yeah,
it's on the water and then it
yeah,
just dives
and then it
into the
dives
beach
in.
itself,
Yeah.
like the sand of the
Yes.
beach.
And then it
And
just
then
disappears, and people are like, "What?" And then, of course, it just comes up, just eats one of us, like someone, on the beach, and it's just like, that's the beginning of this movie. Like, how do we escape now? Like this is nuts.
we're on the beach.
We're on the beach. Oh, what is it? These are a lot from me. Did I ask? Hey, let me see. No, Levi, you asked too many questions for me, but okay. So, Steven, what was it like growing the character of Arnold the Bard? What was that like for you?
Arnold, when I was developing Arnold the Bard, I just really wanted this character that like exuded this like almost Luigi-esque feel. Like you're not intimidated by this character. This character is a very kind soul, and you can sense that through and through. But I wanted to make sure that he still came off as clever and wise and like knew what he was doing. And basically, like, while he is kind, he is also very protective of his friends and strong when he needs to be. So it wasn't easy to cultivate this character, but I've had plenty of people to pull reference from.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. I mean, it's very true, dude. The only thing, like, the most interesting thing that I'll say about Arnold is like I had him kind of dealing with loss in an interesting way that like I like that I never said explicitly on the show, but like I was intent because at first we had Katie on the show and she was kind of a mother character to him. And then when she was gone from the show, he no longer had that like guiding voice to like help him through things. And if you pay attention to the show, you'll see that Arnold started mimicking his friends. So he went through like a rough phase where he was kind of like being gruff and violent, kind of like Mel. And he went through a
Mhm.
phase where he was learning how to steal and be sneaky, kind of like Gareth, you know. And he was like, so it was just, he was going through all these different phases, trying to learn from his friends and follow suit rather than being himself because he didn't know what to do. And then he kind of found himself through those moments, you know. So I
That's
like doing
awesome.
it. Um, but I really like that. I never had to be like, this is what I'm doing, guys. Like I just did
This
it, and
is
I was like,
my story.
yeah, yeah. And if people like, if people notice, they notice. Like, who cares? Okay. Most importantly, how's the script going? So the script for Stakeout is finished. The feature length script is done. I really love it. We've decided to make a short film, but I'm basically going to just adapt the feature into a new short that I really what I want to do is just shoot as much of the feature as we possibly can. And because the truth is, it's a highly conversational short film. It's not a crazy it's ambitious, but it's not like out of this world. It only takes place in like one location
I
most.
almost imagine similar to Clerks, where you can kind of just keep adding segments to it as the movie progresses if you wanted to,
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. I mean, like once you and I get, if we have a camera set up and we're in the car, if we're doing my coverage, we just read, like, let's just go through the script and just read all the parts that are in a car and get this basic coverage of it. And like, yes, it's like some of it might feel a little stale if we do it that way, because I do want to keep it a little, or like make it a little cinematic and such. But like the truth is, a lot of it can just be shot in a car. And most of it takes place in the car, so it's like the majority of the feature is in the car. So it's not unbelievable or like inconceivable that we film the majority of the feature with the money from the short. So like just we're gonna do as much as we can, but I'm excited for the short, and I think it'll be cool. But those are the last of our questions. Thank you all for asking us questions. We really appreciate the heck out of you. If you have any questions for us, you can ask them below. Also, make sure you follow Steven and I on Twitter, and you can ask us anytime, and we can just talk to us. You can DM us, and just we're Steven's very approachable. I am bad at answering things, but I will do my best.
I've been pretty absent. I mean, I still check in periodically, but I've been pretty absent from Twitter, but I'm still there. So that's definitely where you're going to get a hold of me the best.
Oh yeah. But anyway, at the end of each show, we talk about what we're going to do this week. Steven, what's your plan for this
I
week?
got some solid roughs to build the foundation. I mean, obviously Mother's Day is this weekend, but I have way more time this weekend to work on everything than I did last weekend. So I'm gonna ink those roughs, and then I'm gonna try to get to the next page too, and have
Heck
two
yeah.
pages for you coming
Yeah,
Tuesday.
dude. This weekend, by the way, I have your birthday gift. I have to give you a
Oh
birthday.
yes, we should maybe meet at maybe we'll see if we can meet at Nice Guys or something.
Oh yeah, sweet. Yeah, let's do that. So this week I'm hopefully gonna meet Steven somewhere to give him a birthday gift. I'm going to Atlas is going with his mom for a couple days, so I'm going to get as much writing done as I can. I'm gonna do more with the Kickstarter. I'm gonna aim for 4 pages this week. That's what I'm aiming for. Steven, you should
Okay.
also send me those.
I will.
Yeah, send me your pages. I'll start like coloring and getting situated. At the very least, I'll set up my workstation. I'll
Be
get it.
ready to start going at it.
Yeah, dude, I'm excited for it. I can't freaking wait. I love that we're getting closer to this book, which means we're getting closer to the Kickstarter of the book, which means we're getting closer to feeling like it's real. Like it's that's always a good feeling. But thank you all for watching this. Thank you for your questions and for participating in this colony with us. We really do love you and appreciate you. If you have any suggestions for the show, if you want to tell all of your friends about us, you could do that. We give you all the permission in the world to tell.
You're allowed to. You can put our show over whatever you want.
Oh
You
yeah,
you own it.
yeah. This is your colony too. There's no like central government or anything here. It's so cool that people are gonna make it this far in the episode. I know it's not gonna be a lot of people. It's not gonna be a lot, but if you're here, just know that Steven loves you a lot.
Listen, Sean, Fowler, Lee, Levi,
Mhm.
we love you. We
We love
love
you.
you all.
We do. We do. We really do appreciate you though. But
Tanya makes it through. Tanya
yeah,
makes it
Amelia
through.
makes it through. Heather,
Amelia makes it
a
through.
lot of
Heather,
a
yeah.
lot, yeah, a lot of people do. A lot. Yep.
Chris definitely goes through.
It's awesome knowing that we have these people, and
We have such a strong colony.
it's true. And I hate that. I hate to think that I like in my complaining that we don't get enough views, anyone ever feels like I don't appreciate
It's
those
we know
views.
we love our core colony.
Oh yeah, 100%. I just need more. I need more. No, but please make sure you tell everyone you know about our show. I know it feels like who's gonna click on it? My mom, but maybe we need your mom. We need your dad. We
You
need
know,
your
we stopped the grandparents campaign and we really suffered from it,
we
you
suffered
know?
from it. We need more grandparents. So if your grandparents are out there and they have phones, you hit that subscribe button on their phone. You take their phone, you say, "It's my world now, grandma," and you hit subscribe, and you give it
And you
back.
give her her glass of warm milk that she asked for.
That's right.
It
That's
helps her sleep at night,
what
okay?
but
You give it to the Mista Mista lady too, because
I
she's
actually
important.
the reason I reference that is because I actually watched Happy Gilmore
Oh,
recently
that's awesome.
because I've been watching it in so long, so I was like,
Yeah.
I need to watch this movie.
I think I
It's
just killed that Mista Mista lady.
so it's such a ridiculous movie, but it's fun. And it was our childhoods. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for participating in this. We do appreciate every single one of you. Anyway, I'm Anthony.
I'm Stevie Wildcard.
This has been We Have Issues. We'll see you next week.
Boom! I don't know if that's what it was.
Okay, I'm here. I'm getting ready to interview my favorite person in the world, Stephen Todd. I'm gonna ask him some questions. Oh, look, he's here. Yes.
He just records right away.
Well, Stephen, I'm here for your hard-hitting interview. This is an exit interview for your We Have Issues. Like, we have to say goodbye. We're parting ways, Stephen. It's your last ever episode. I'm
My
sorry.
last episode.
It's your last episode.
This is officially becoming Anthony's third D&D podcast channel.
I'm just going to roll the dice and cry the amount of numbers. I'm just like, that's 13. Oh man, seriously. But how's life? How you feeling? How's the arm?
My arm is a little better, man, but it is wild. Like so it started last week, and like I worked through it because I mean, what other choice do I have? I mean, we're working class Americans, so I mean, we don't have the benefits of healthcare or anything like that. So I'm just like, it's gonna do it. And then when because we went away for Cambria's birthday this weekend.
Yeah.
So while I was on vacation, I think Saturday was like the worst day. Like I couldn't even like lift it, like hold my phone or anything like that. And then so I took yesterday off from work, just like, hey, I'm gonna try to take a third day in a row with not heavily using this.
Yeah.
And it seemed to have helped because today I did have more range of motion.
Nice.
I still can't lift things, and certain like things hurt more, but yeah, it's getting better, but it is very uncomfortable at best, you know.
That sucks. I know exactly what you mean. Like I've gone through that with my neck at different times and my knee,
shoulders. I bet,
yeah.
And
dude,
it's based tendonitis is just like, hey, you got this until I decide that I'm no longer inflamed. Like that's basically what it is. Like it's,
dude, you know that thing. Okay, we've talked about this a little before, but like, dude, I had recently. So I'm starting to exercise again. I'm trying. You know, I'm trying to like get in better shape. I'm trying to eat better. I'm trying. You know. But unfortunately, I'm not always going to do the best job because I'm not like I'm not training for the Olympics like Jim Gaffigan says, you know, like I don't know what I'm doing. I'm trying my best, you know. So like, dude, the other day at work, I just got to work. I'm getting there early. I sit down and my friend, like my coworker friend comes in and he's like talking to me. And dude, out of nowhere, I get that like tight pain in my chest and I can't get the full breath. And I'm like, I'm dying. I'm freaking dying. I'm dying. This is it. This is it. I literally,
the big one.
I had it in my like, and it sucks because he's sitting there talking and like I was listening, but I also was like, I don't want to tell him what I'm mentally and emotionally going through right now because just in case I don't die, I don't want to worry him and have it become this whole thing. So I'm literally like, I don't want to inconvenience you with my potential death, you know. So I'm gonna do my best to just like I'm gonna suffer through this and listen to you. But like, dude, I literally was doing the thing where I was like, oh my god, is this an actual heart attack? Am I having a heart attack? I'm having a heart attack right now. What do I just breathe? I can't breathe. I can't breathe all the way. Why can't I? And I'm just like having trouble. And then, dude, it literally took me like a full minute to be like, I exercised yesterday. I took weights and I was doing things with the weights yesterday, and I probably pulled something back here, and
something I've learned with physical, since my job is very physical, is you won't feel it in your back,
No.
but you'll feel it here because
Yep.
it's like the tension, and it's from the slouching. We both kind of slouch.
Oh yeah, for
And
sure.
like that tension from using it and slouching puts pressure on your diaphragm area, which is so weird. But yeah, dude. And then like I know exactly that feeling that you're talking about.
Oh.
And then sometimes trying to conquer my own anxiety and panic disorder,
Mm.
I will convince myself, like, nope, you know what this is.
Yep.
And then it'll do something different. And then I have to freak out. I'm like, this is different. I'm not prepared. What's going on? And it's like you're
Flipping
playing
through
a
the
video.
manual of
Yeah,
Steven. Was ah.
it's like, okay, what hasn't he experienced? Let's really fuck with him right now. Like,
Dude, yeah, like being human is insane. It's such a friggin' it's a roller coaster, dude.